Now, Faith has been doing interviews for the last 2 decades saying that Tupac lied and hit him up about sleeping with her. I understand that you were actually the one that like worked with Tupac, to come up with the plot to sleep with her. Tell me a little bit more about the role you played in this genius and devilish plan
So yeah.
to avenge, for revenge, because he was out for
Yeah,
revenge.
that was his way of getting Big back immediately. Was, he was that like he was like he gonna fuck with his bitches, and he was like Kim, and I was like Kim or Faith, and I was like, I think you got a better chance fucking Faith because before I knew that they weren't on good terms. I lived maybe 10 blocks away from where Big lived at. So I would, occasionally like the hood would get together. Everybody would ride out, go to his shows and stuff like that. And this is at around the time he married Faith. So I'm like, and then, being around that circle, hearing this nigga's fucking everything moving still, even though he's married, they having problems, she constantly catching him and shit. So I was like, she's probably the weakest link because when your man is embarrassing you publicly, sometimes you got some
You
frustration
want
and
to
you
get him
got some
back.
you got a little revenge streak in you. So I was like, I think, you might want to go after her instead of little Kim because I feel like she's more loyal or more of a rider to him. So, that was how we got that cracking. And when he got out, as fate would have it, very soon he bumped into her. And after he fucked her, the next so I'm in Queens, he's in California. That afternoon he called me and he called me and told me that he did it. First he's like, I did it. I told you I'd do it. I did it. And I'm like, yeah, what did you do? And he's like, yeah, I just fucked that bitch. And I was like, oh wow. I'm like, yay, great, okay. And we
And how
spoke.
did you react?
Um I was dry.
Honestly, how did you react in the moment?
I was dry. I was like, "Oh, okay, yay!" Like, but it was killing me. Yes, it was killing me inside. But I was like, "Okay, great, yay!" Then he, switched up the subject, and he's like, "I'm about to send for you to come out here." And I was like, "All right, cool, whatever, whatever." And he's like, when you're available. So that changed the subject, and then I was like, "Cool." But as soon as I hung up the phone with him, I got this urge to just vomit. Like I was just so upset, hurt, like disgusted. And then I started throwing up to the point where I ended up having to go to the emergency room that night because I like choked on my own throw up and my uh irises became bloodshot red. It looked like they thought I had been strangled. Like that's how uncontrollable I started vomiting. That's why.
Now, were you disgusted because here's the man you love calling you, telling you that he just another woman, or were you disgusted because it was Faith? I mean, just for
No,
clarity.
I was disgusted because I loved him and it just like I loved him and even though I thought I could stomach, because it's like we discussed this and you're calling me because it's like, yeah, we hatched this little plan and we talked about this and
It
boom,
was
I
cute
did
in the
it.
planning phases.
It was. And in reality, it was too much for me to handle. And that's how I know, like, I don't, in theory, it sounds good, but I don't think I would have been able to be a part of the harem because I want more. I wanted more, but I wanted him too bad. So that was a fight, an inner fight.
Oh my gosh. So when you guys were originally discussing it, did he automatically say like I'm going to get at Kim? Like did he ever say anything to you about being attracted to Kim, or was
No,
it just
mm-mm.
like
No, he just I don't think I think if they wouldn't have been attached to Big, I don't even think they would have been on the radar. He wasn't attracted to
okay.
Kim or nothing like that. It was just he knew This nigga was fucking with her for a minute. And then, he ups and marries Faith out the blue, like out of nowhere, but everybody knew Kim was his bitch. So, you know, it was like sometimes a man's wife is his wife and his other is maybe his heart. So, you know, I think that's more along the lines he was just trying to get at whatever was going to hurt and embarrass him.
Okay. Okay, so Faith said in her memoir that Pac demanded that she suck his wee wee so that she can
His
get paid for
wee.
the song, so that she can get paid for the song "Wonder Why They Call You Bitch," and that she didn't know, she had no idea that Tupac was signed to Death Row before going over there to record the song. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's comedy. I think that's comedy because she didn't know that Suge was on death row and she signed to Bad Boy and Suge was fucking Puff's baby mama and Pac was fucking her best friend.
Who her best friend? Who was the best friend?
Who still is her best friend?
Oh, I don't know, Miss Desiree. I'm trying to get you to say it.
I know. But she's
Would this
in look,
lady happen to be? Would she happen to be a singer who just was successful for the last
absolutely.
4 decades?
Absolutely.
And would this singer
Absolutely.
happen to have an album titled "My Life"?
Absolutely. You got it. So
Okay.
yeah, so Faith want to act. Faith just lying off the like. She just gonna run with this lie and go with it. Ain't nobody tell her about no sucking, no weep. Suck his dick to get paid. I never heard that
That's what she
before.
put in the book.
I wouldn't even read
That's
her
what she
book.
put in the book.
That's what you call fiction, not fact.
Yeah, she said that Tupac demanded that
Demanded.
she suck his wee wee before she got her check
Oh, okay. Well, she got a check.
for the song
She
"Wonder
got
Why
her
They Call You
check, but
Bitch."
she didn't suck no wee wee. And they couldn't release the song. As soon as I got to LA, the next day he took me to the studio to play me her version and told me like they wouldn't clear it, but they did the song.
He
Like
got it.
she's a fiction writer.
Do you think Tupac ever lied on? Do you think he ever lied or would ever lie on his?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So here's two things we're going to go on. Now, normally when somebody's these first we're going to deal with that, but of the people that he said he had sex with, nobody else is saying that he didn't. And he really wasn't a kiss and tell. You just was dumb.
It was just Faith.
You thought he liked you. You didn't never cross your mind. He got a problem with your man. Now you did that on spite. And you just don't want to, say what it is. It is what it is. He didn't lie on his dick. He ain't never lied on his dick. He don't got to lie on his dick. Just throwing themselves at him by the dozens. But also on that aspect as well, going back to the case. So just one person, nobody's never come out ever again and say any type of story about this man doing anything.
That's why I don't believe it.
Now you see these other people that are being accused of sexual assault, rape, things like that.
Rapists don't just rape
They
once.
keep that's a pattern. Yeah, that's a habit. So no, he's not a liar. Not about his dick, not about touching or doing anything with anybody, forcing them to do anything. He wasn't asking that lady to suck his dick for no damn check because she already fucked him. So that's just another one of her lies to cover her tracks. Those who know.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, just me as a spectator, I think that if I'm shooting Faith some bell, to be fair, she Tupac, she wanted the spider, but she didn't know that they both were gonna die the way that they
True.
died. So, is that why you think she's carried the lie out for so long? Because of how things ended?
Nope. Two, she wants to save face and not look like a whore. And I believe that she has a child with Big, and she don't want to tarnish that image of their relationship and have her son look at her any different. Because being put in her shoes, that's what I would think. Like, I got this man's child. I'm not ever going to say that I slept with his enemy. Because how does my son look and think about me at that point?
But do you think it would have been something? Let's just say hypothetically, Tupac and Biggie were still alive today. Do you think it still would have been something that she would have had trouble admitting to?
She still has that man's child at the end of the day. I think if she didn't maybe have children, whether they dead or alive, she probably might have kept it more real. She did what she did out of spite. She never intended for the world to know it. You know, she was being a sneak. And I mean, I don't know. I'm a dick like this. If I was her and I had the opportunity to fuck after laying up under Big, I would take it. But
Me too.
yeah, I would take it.
I would lie about it too, but I wouldn't keep
If I
lying on
have,
his name. I would just tell people not to ask me about it in interviews.
no, she's adamant, you know, but at the end of the day, she does have a child with Big. So you think about it. You don't have kids yet, but when you do, you will realize there's a lot of things I will and will not do because I have a child. And I'm not, especially a male child, I'm not going to embarrass my sons I have sons, but I wouldn't embarrass my son by letting him know I did some real thought shit with my husband, your dad's op. So yeah, I'm taking that to the grave.
And I can't say that I'm mad at her. I just don't like the fact that she be lying on my fave,
Yeah.
saying like putting out all these stories saying, "Oh, he told me that I gotta suck his to get paid," and it's just
Yeah,
like,
that's
girl,
crazy. That's
like
crazy. That's the
you
first time I
tripping.
heard that. That's crazy.
Yeah, she put that in her book.
What, you was giving prostitute? Why did he think that you had to get paid, like suck dick for money?
She had to suck his willy to get the check.
That
Girl,
sounds
like
crazy. That don't even sound like that man. And I'm sure you do lots of interviews. Make sure you ask everybody who personally know him if that sounds like something he would do or say. Because I don't think not one person's gonna sit there and be like, "Yeah, that's Pac. He would have." Yeah, no, absolutely not. No
okay.
money for
Yeah,
favors.
yeah, I don't see it. But then, people tell me like, "Oh, well, you didn't know him. You never met him." So,
Well, I did.
it is what it
I
is.
did, and that's
Right,
totally out his
exactly.
character.